What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Chat Room, a podcast dedicated with having interviews with upcoming stars and influencers of our generation. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram at thechatroom.tcr and on Twitter at thechatroom_TCR. Also, don't forget to become one of our valued Patreon members, which allows you to unlock exclusive content while also supporting this podcast. Enjoy the episode.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you're listening in from. Today, your host is me, Martina, and I am joined by Carvalho with me. Hi, Kgomi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well as well.
It's so awesome to have you here, the woman with many hats, IT, quality assurance specialist, home cook, content creator. There's so much to you. Hey, why don't you tell us a bit more about the stuff that you do?
So my day job is a IT quality assurance specialist. So I do QA on IT systems in the company that I've worked for, and I've worked there for almost 5 years now.
Wow.
And on the side, apparently we mustn't call them side hustles. We must call them our portfolio careers.
Oh,
so my
okay.
portfolio career is as a home cook, I have an Instagram page and I post recipes and pictures, and I'm quite interested in cookbooks, quite interested in food photography. And so I've got a food photography sort of page where I help people learn how to cook. And so that's what I do on the side, my portfolio career.
That's awesome. That's really, really great. So today we're just going to be talking about all the stuff that you do, all those hats that you wear. And also we're going to talk a bit about Women's Month, because we know that we're in Women's Month right now. And I'm sure quite a number of people don't really know what Women's Month is about and what it means to be a woman. So it's going to be very fun and interactive, but also educating the people as well. Yeah?
I'm excited.
Awesome. So tell us, how did you not exactly come up with Kgomi's Kitchen, but like what drove you to want to be a home cook and be so passionate about posting recipes and doing all this food stuff?
So I definitely wasn't driven. I was pushed and forced. So what happened was when I married my husband, he said he was going to cook and I was supposed to wash dishes. And that's how it was supposed to go down. There was no left, no right. It is written in my marriage contract somewhere in my head.
The fine print you didn't read.
But the fine print says that he is supposed to cook and I'm supposed to wash dishes. But nevertheless, as we started our marriage and sort of saw how things work, marriage is not black and white, unfortunately, and it's not straightforward. And so what happened is he actually just didn't have time to cook. And I found myself having more time than he did. And so it all of a sudden didn't make sense anymore that he was the cook of our family and I was the dishwasher in our family. And so at some point we switched roles and I started cooking and I had to learn how to cook, and it was very deep end like for me. I think I just cooked the same thing over and over again. At some point I found a cookbook that I thought was really cool, and my parents bought me this cookbook. I think they were very concerned.
Oh wow.
My husband wasn't eating. So my parents bought me this cookbook and I just loved the pictures. And so I started buying cookbooks, just falling in love with pictures, trying things here and there.
You became a cookbook
mainly
order.
For the pictures. Yes, I still am. I just need to build a shelf and then I will continue. But as I started buying cookbooks and just more and more cookbooks, and then I started cooking, and then I decided, okay, I need to take pictures. And so that's how it sort of happened. And I started taking pictures and posting them. And hence the beginnings of Kgomi's Kitchen.
That's so amazing. It's actually not your usual, oh my gosh, when I was growing up, I really loved cooking. And so it was just natural that when I was older, it's not your cliche story. It's actually a very unique story. And I think that makes it even a better one.
Yeah, it's been challenging. I mean, I've only been cooking for about 3 years, maybe
Really?
less than 3 years. Yes.
Your picture
So
suggests you've
everything
been
that I've
doing this
learned-
all your life, hey?
Thank you. Everything that I've learned in 3 years, less than 3 years. So I'm just almost hitting the 3-year mark of cooking. So it's been a journey. I've been learning quite a lot. Really, just trying to be a sponge and gain every piece of knowledge that I can. And everyone who knows me thinks this is absolutely crazy that I can cook, and I am all for them. I think exactly the same thing. It wasn't supposed to be like this.
Okay.
This is weird.
This was not the plan.
Never been interested in food. Never. But, it was an opportunity I saw. I was very excited, very interested in taking pictures. And so I just feel like, to share the picture without the recipe is not helpful.
Mm-hmm,
And
that's
so
true.
that's why I started sharing the recipes, because like the same way I learned all of this in a short time, I feel like everyone can learn a lot in a very short time. And so to share the recipes and show people that it really is possible to just start cooking, and that you can make amazing food in your house, really.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you've got the tools there with you and you know how to read, it's pretty straightforward, I believe.
Yes, everyone who can read is a cook, in my opinion.
That's amazing. So what would you say you enjoy more, cooking or baking? And what's your favorite thing to make? Like your go-to meal where you know that, okay, if we wake you up at 2 a.m. and say, cook us something, you can make this without looking at any recipe book or needing any instructions.
I think for me, baking has been a lot more successful than cooking. And so I don't know why, maybe because of the way like my head works. I studied IT. So I studied informatics, which is business and IT together, which has a lot of economics, a lot of numbers. And if you tell it to do the wrong thing, it does the wrong thing. So there's a lot of truth, can I say it that way, in computers. They don't lie to you. They just do exactly what they're supposed to do and exactly what you tell them to do.
Unlike most people.
I think coming from that sort of, unlike most people, so coming from that background, baking is so much easier. I tell the oven 180, it does that. Well, apparently, but it does that. I put in measured amounts, and measured amounts work together, and it comes up to exactly how it's supposed to.
Yeah.
With cooking, however, things can change, and you're allowed to be a lot more experimental. You're allowed to do things that you can't necessarily do with baking, and so it's a lot more unpredictable, I think. And so that's why I probably lean more to the baking side. I thought it was predictable at first. It's definitely not.
Yeah.
But I've leaned more to the baking side than I have the cooking side. And then my go-to meal, I don't have one. I can make a lot of things without recipes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I don't have a go-to meal.
These 3 years have done you good. Now you're a professional. We can wake you up at 2 a.m. You can make anything.
I can cook now. But I think one of the reasons for that is because I have an Instagram page. The cooking process is very different than what people would assume. We don't eat a lot of things beyond the picture I take. So, for example, I will test out something, I'll test it out again. And then if I test it out, like maybe the third or the fourth time I'm happy with it, I'll take a picture and post that. But I'll probably never return to that for the next few months, because there's other things that need to be made, there's other pictures that need to be taken. So like, for example, my husband has things that he loves, but he'll probably not eat those things for a few months because there's other stuff that needs to be made. I can't just go over our favorites the whole time. I can't do that. It's not effective. It's not efficient.
No, definitely. That makes sense. And now let's talk about content creation, because in this digital age, I mean, it's like everyone is a content creator. As long as you have at least one person following you on your WhatsApp status, then you're a content creator and you're entertaining somebody out there. But there's some people who actually want to monetize their content and to make money from the content that they make. So do you have any tips for people who would want to do that? Like, I mean, your content is really great. You've got a great following on your Instagram. You make amazing, relatable, and practical content, which I guess is some of the stuff people would need to make. But what other stuff behind the scenes can a person do to make sure that they put out content that would get them something in return?
I think the goal shouldn't be that you should want to make money. Money should never be your main goal or your main priority. Mm-hmm. Your main priority should be your audience and the audience that you have in mind. So what you should be doing is saying, what can I do that could benefit the people that are around me? What can I do to help the people that are around me? And what you'll find is when you're helpful to your community, people will give you money. Money, a lot of people will say, I attract money. You attract money by being helpful. You don't attract money by running after money, right?
Wow.
And so that's one of the main things I think that people maybe miss. They want followers, and that's great. You can want followers, but it's very disappointing because for all content creators, people unfollow us every day. Every day people unfollow us, right? It's not
even with such amazing fruit on your page. It's not like
somebody follows you. Oh, every day. But like, if we're just gonna speak solely about the unfollowing, I mean, my account gets recommended people when they join Instagram. They follow because of the name. When they see the content, it might not be beneficial to them, and because they're no longer beneficial, or their account is no longer beneficial to our lives. And so your goal is to remain beneficial to your audience. You don't have to benefit everyone, but only to the people that you want. So only the target market of your page per se. So that's probably the first thing. And when you know that you're benefiting people, then you won't get caught up in wanting to make money and where the money is going to come from and all of that stuff. I will say that it's a long road to making money because there's a lot of people involved. There are, like you said, a lot of content creators. So a lot of people are content creators. The market is competitive. In that regard, there's a lot of people who also post incredible content. I follow them, incredible content, so in that regard, the market is competitive. So like, if there is no financial gain, would you still do what you do? And that's the big question. And I think because I didn't start wanting money, actually my prayer was absolutely wrong. I prayed, I was like, Jesus, some free stuff, please. Yes, Lord, let's go. And I get lots of free stuff. My prayer was definitely inaccurate. I get lots of free stuff. But even so, I know that I would still have a food page, whether people followed, people didn't, whether I made money or I didn't, because it's my hobby. It's not my job. Yeah. So it is very different if it's your job. So if you're coming in with a business mind, then always think about the people, always think about how you can benefit people, how you can produce content that's beneficial if you come in with a business mind. But like I said, the mindset really does change things. If you have a business mindset for your Instagram page or a business mindset for your YouTube page, the content will flow in that direction. And hopefully through your planning, you'll be able to make money. And it can be a real portfolio career for you. But know what you want and know why you're doing it, I think is important.
Okay, that's really great. I think you've really said something so powerful, because I'm also a believer in the fact that if you do something that you're passionate about, it's not going to feel like work. The moment it starts feeling like work, like if the money is motivating you, okay, we take away the money, you're not going to do it anymore. I believe you should just do something where like you wouldn't rather be doing anything else.
Yes, definitely. And it shouldn't, well, you see, that's the other problem, is sometimes you do what you're passionate about and it still feels like work, unfortunately. I follow so many chefs and they love food. They love food. But food has now become their 24/7 job. And it's impractical. They are not parts of your job that you like. For example, I absolutely don't like. And so to believe that content creating is going to be this amazing outlet and there's going to be no parts that you don't like is impractical. There are going to be parts that you don't like. There are going to be parts that absolutely feel like work. I mean, it's my hobby and sometimes it feels like work.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, kneading dough, I love cooking as well and baking. And I know there's some days where I'm just like, I'm so passionate. I've got the fire. I'm like, today I'm going to make a Sunday roast and roast potatoes and this and this and this and that. And then there's some days I'm like,
sounds delicious.
I'm just going to have bread. Like, I'm just going to have bread.
So when you're a content creator, there's no, I'm going to have bread.
You're going to have to pull it every day.
You have to push, you have to do what you have to do. So yes, I'm grateful to God though that a lot of us have been able to create have been able to make our pages financially beneficial to us, but it's also not it's not steady until I think you have a huge following. Even when you have a huge following, it's not steady. It's a different world altogether, honestly. Like if we were to get into it, I worked with a brand and they paid, I think, 3 months later. That's not sustainable if you don't have finances. It's a different world. I think it looks very glamorous, but when you're in it, it's very
something else.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that you'll figure out as you go. So really do be passionate about it. And if it is just a hobby, then don't sweat it too much. Just do it as a hobby, and what comes, and make sure that you are a multifaceted person, that you have multiple streams of income as well.
Yeah,
so that
definitely.
You're not just reliant on one thing. You're not dependent. I think that helps as well, especially when you're starting, like me.
Yeah,
it helps
really
to have
amazing.
a job.
That's really, really great. I think that's some awesome and wholesome and wise advice. So thank you so much for that. And I'm sure anyone who listens to this will really take that to heart and use it for their benefit. So now one last question on the food aspect of things, right? And you've got 10 seconds to answer it. Okay. You are stuck in a house for 3 months and you can only have 5 foods. 5. Right. You've got
5
oil.
meals?
No, 5 foods. So like either you have apples and peanut butter but it's food items, not food, like not meals. Right? You've got your spices, your rosemary, your salt, you've got your cooking oil. So those basics are there. But what are 5 things that you would have in your house for those 3 months? And you've got 10 seconds starting now.
So I can't explain them. I should just tell you what they are. All right.
Just tell me what they are.
Definitely full chickens. So the entire chickens. Definitely, I don't know if I already have pasta or not, but pasta is important. Okay. Definitely rice. And on the veggie side, I don't know what I have.
Okay. Let's say you have your spices, right? You have your spices, you have tomatoes and onions, you have milk. That's all you have. That's all you have. Oh, okay. Cooking oil.
Well, then,
cooking oil. Yeah.
And oil, definitely a full chickens. They're very versatile. Definitely pasta, that's extremely versatile. The most versatile, I think, vegetable that you can have is probably spinach. So definitely some spinach. Unfortunately, I live on potatoes, so I'll have to choose potatoes. And for my last one is steak, because why not?
Because why not? I mean, that's enough of a reason, right?
Why not?
Awesome.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much. So now let's move on to Women's Month. I just want to know, what does Women's Month mean to you personally? Like, not like what it represents globally, but what it means to you as a woman.
I think it's beautiful that we're able to recognize women. I know in the country that we live in, a lot of the time we recognize for the purpose of acknowledging struggle. But I don't think of that as Women's Month. I don't think of women and acknowledge all of our struggle. And, like the only reason women are celebrated is because we had to walk to those buildings, or we had to come together, we had to strike. I think when I think of Women's Month and what it means to me is a celebration of women and what they've been able to accomplish, and their almost the joys of it, the positives of what it's like to be a woman and what it is to be a woman. Fortunately, when I think of Women's Month, I remember who we are and who we are today, and who we are today in this country, that we are so multifaceted, that we're all these things, wearing all these hats, and we're able to do it. Not that we are multitasking, but that we're able to do all these things and we're able to really do them well. When I think of women, I'm excited for us. I'm excited for what we've been able to do, excited for what we've been able to accomplish, and really excited to see women win. I love this month just because everywhere we look, there's a women's event. There are women who are their accolades are being recognized. I love that, there's all of these beautiful announcements in Women's Month. It's like every time there's a Women's Month, people are announcing all of the great things that they've been able to achieve as a celebration. Oh, this is how we all are going to best again, and next Women's Month we'll be able to celebrate women all over again.
Yeah, I think that's really great. I feel like sometimes we focus so much on, like, of course we have problems. There's some things we still need to conquer now, but I feel like Women's Day should be about celebrating the things we already have conquered as well, not just speaking about the issues we currently have, but also taking time to just be like, oh wow, we've come so far. Because I mean, decades ago, women couldn't get an education. It was a crime. In some countries, women couldn't drive. I mean, there are still some countries right now where women can't drive. But we've come far. And I think it's amazing for us to be able to recognize that and just celebrate that as well.
Yeah, I think our country, unfortunately, maybe it's because of COVID, but we don't celebrate Women's Day like in other countries. There are some countries where women dress up on Women's Day and go to their city centers and walk in the streets and get excited. And I wish we would do that here, but obviously COVID.
Yeah, of course.
But that's how, when I saw that, I think it was last year or maybe the year before, when I saw how other women in their countries celebrate women, no man in sight. It's just women celebrating being
it's a girl's day.
I love that. It really is. It's really like, it's a girl thing. It's a girl day. It's gorgeous. So I just wish we could do that. I wonder if we would, but obviously now with the Rona, we have to, this too shall pass. And once it does, I hope we're able to celebrate like that. Having Girls' Day out and doing girl things because we're celebrating Women's Day. I love that.
Yeah, definitely. And I also feel like it shouldn't just be like a one-day thing. Like, obviously we have the internationally recognized one, but I feel like as sisters we should celebrate each other even every day. Like, compliment your friends, compliment your sisters, support their portfolio what? I can't remember the term.
Portfolio careers.
Support their portfolio careers, because that's how we build each other up and get each other to a better place.
Yes. And not having any animosity, not having any jealousy or any competition. I mean, honestly, like when I started my food page, I didn't follow a lot of people on my food page. And the reason I didn't is because I just didn't see the point of it. I have an Instagram page and I use my Instagram page a lot. So I just felt like, okay, here's the food page. And I just followed a couple of people. And then I met a lady, and she was like, the best thing about her cooking page is the fact that she can see everyone else's work. And I was like, what? Yeah. And so I started following people, and at some point I had followed, I think about, I don't know how many people I follow now on my cooking page, but I followed like, let's just say 500 people. And it is so amazing to wake up every morning. Well, not necessarily wake up, let's say around 8 p.m. And go onto my Instagram, and you just see what all my created that day, it's so good. And they're all women, most of them. I think 90% of them are women. And it's incredible just to see what they've created and to like and to comment and to share and to say, oh my gosh, look here. Oh, I love this, and support each other, because we're all in this together at the end of the day. And I find it so interesting. One of the, back to Instagram, unfortunately. One of the Instagram tips is don't comment on your competitors' stuff. And it's like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? They're creating such amazing things.
Yeah.
So there's this culture that is like, don't engage, don't do this. And it's so limiting. It's so contradictory to the joy of content creating. One of the joys of content creating is to have friends that content create, to each other's to really push each other and see each other win. And Women's Month for me has been that. Instagram has been winning left, right, and center, and it's beautiful to see.
That's really amazing. And I do agree with you. I mean, the only way we build each other up is by supporting each other and, making sure we're all good and offering a hand where we can. So I think it's some great stuff you've said. And I hope a lot of people take heed to that and just, because a lot of the stuff that happens in the world, like all the jealousy, all the competitiveness all the time, is simply because, you don't realize that you can actually learn from the other person. Like if they're posting amazing content, you get to see it and be like, okay, so what can I do better, without having to tear them down for their good content. Like, so it's really amazing. Thank you so much for taking time to really speak to us today about all these things. It's really been great having you and hearing all the wisdom
it's a pleasure.
Have to share.
Definitely a pleasure. It was great to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. And to everybody who listened, thank you and good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are.